Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss here graph theory. Those topics we are going to cover in our today's lectures: definition of graph, types of graph, and some terminologies which are respected with graph. First, we will see here what is the exact graph. Here is a diagrammatically representation of your all nodes here A, B, C and D. So here a graph is a pair of V and E. So where V is a set of all vertices. So here A, B, C and D are known as a vertices, or we can simply call it as a node as well. Okay, and those lines who are going to connect your A and B, which is known as a E. E is nothing but a edge. So E is a collection of two elements which are subset of your V. So A and B are the subset of your vertices. So we are going to connect that A and B with respect to the edge E. So elements of V are called as vertices. So A, B, C, D, those all are the elements of your V set. It is called as a vertices, and V is a vertex set. And elements of E, that is this first edge which is going to connect A to B, then B to C, C to D, B to D. Those all edges are called as a set of your edge, and E is a set. Definitions of some types of graph. First one, which is a directed. It is also known as a ordered pair of vertices. Ordered in the sense having a order route from your first vertex to the other, or vice versa. So which is known as, or we can simply say they represented as U and V. So here in this diagram, from U we are going to start to travel having a directed edge to the your V. So vertex U is going to directed from U to V. Undirected in the sense unordered pair of vertices, which is also represent as U, V, set of UV. So in that there is no any sense of direction into both vertices, and end vertices we can simply call it as both end vertices are treated as interchangeably, means vice versa. You can travel from U to V as well as V to U. Then third, which is nothing but a loop. So loop is an edge whose endpoints are equal, means an edge from U to V, in the sense U to U is known as a self edge. So here one edge which starts from U and again connect to or directed to U as well. So here U, U is nothing but a U, which is also called as a self loop. So loop, which is an edge who is having a start point and end points are equal, it is known as a loop or the self loop. So having a joining of vertex to itself only. Then multiple edges in the sense two or more edges are joining the same pair of the vertices. Means suppose we are having a collection of two vertices and two or more edges are having identically same end point. Okay, so you are having a U, from U to V you are having a multiple edges, let's say 1, 2, 3, and each and every edge having the same end point from U to V, that is a multiple edges. Then the simple undirected graph. Simple graph, which is also known as the graph does not contains any self loop and the multiple edges. So in that particular graph, u, v and w having a vertices consist of v, a non-empty set of vertices, because we are having a 3 vertices here, and non-empty set of edges. Each vertices is going to connect with respect to the one edge. A set of ordered pairs, set of unordered pairs, because the particular graph is a simple undirected graph of distinct element of v, which is called as a undirected. Okay, so you can travel from u to v as well as vice versa, v to u to w as well as w to u. So the representation of that particular example is, so g is nothing but a graph, the particular graph having a v and e edges, comma v vertices, you are having a u, v and w here, and e, so you are having a 3 edges here, u to v, then v to w and u to w. So that is the simple undirected graph into the your graph theory. Then next, the multigraph. So multigraph is nothing but a graph which does not contains any self loop, a graph with a multiple occurrence as well of the same edge. It is known as a multiple graph. So here is an example of your representation of multigraph. So we are having a which is also known as a consist the set of vertices v. So we are having a 3 vertices here, u, v, w, set of edges e1, e2 and e3 edges. So e are the edges here 2. So first edge we are having here u to v, okay, and the edge e1 and e2 are called multiple edges, or we can say that the parallel edges are here. e1 and e2 both are going to connect to u and v, e1 and e2 as well. So the representation of that particular example is having a 3 vertices u, v and w here, and having the edges e1, e2 and e3. So u and v are going to connect with multiple edges, that is e1 and e2. So it is also known as a multigraph. Then the pseudograph. So pseudograph consists a set of vertices v, set of edges e, and function f from e, or simply you can say a graph contains both self loop as well as the multi-edge. It is also called as a pseudograph. So loops allowed in your particular pseudograph. So representation of that particular graph, pseudograph, is u, v, w, 3 are the vertices here, and having a 4 edges with including multiple edges as well as the self loop. So e1 and e2 are going to connect your u and v. So multi edges are there, and to the your w, e4 is a self loop for your w. So we are here in that particular pseudograph, the 2 contents are considered. So having a multi edges as well as the self loop, which is known as a pseudograph. Then the directed graph. So simply directed graph we can say having a consists the direction of edge, then the particular graph is called as a directed graph. So again we are having here a one graph G having a set V and E. So having a ordered pair of elements from U, you can only travel to V, not a vice versa V to U. Then from V to W, not vice versa W to V as well. So V vertices having here U, V, W, and edges U to V only, V to W only, and W to U only. Ordered pair of elements. Then the directed multigraph. So into the directed multigraph, same, having a direction, you are going to travel from U to and you are having here a self loop as well. So here is a representation of U, V and W, and we are having edges into that particular graph is E1, E2, E3 and E4. Multigraph in the sense consisting a set of vertices V. So edges we are having here. So 4 edges we are having here, and with respect to the your 3 vertices. So here are some comparison of your all graph: simple graph, multigraph, pseudograph, directed graph and directed multigraph. So into the simple graph, edges are undirected and multiple edges are not allowed, as well as loops are not allowed. In a multigraph, the graph is undirected, but multiple edges are allowed and self loop are not allowed. In a pseudograph is again undirected graph, multiple edges are allowed and loops are again allowed into the pseudograph. Directed graph, into the directed graph is a directed, having a particular direction, but multiple edges are not allowed, self loops are allowed. In a directed multigraph, the graph is a directed, multiple edges are allowed here, as well as the loops are allowed here. So thank you all of you. In next lecture we are going to discuss some terminologies of your graph theory.